again, we're back to being human. And if we had questions, we could discuss things. But I suspect a little review here is a good idea. So let's go on and share what we've seen so far, or share some ideas on what we've seen so far. You've seen that large spaces are possible, rooms are possible, tours are possible, and PowerPoint is possible. And in fact, we can mix these styles any way we want to. We can do whatever we think we might need. But we can also create new possibilities. We can do mini simulations. We can do large interactive objects. And we can transform slides into spaces. We can do whatever we need. We can take 2D into 3D. Okay, here's a set of educational examples from my Darwin presentation. This landscape shows information that science knew in the time just prior to Darwin. And you can click on the landscape and turn it. And clicking on the strata brings up different layers. Mousing over the shells and the rocks brings up information on the fossils. As an educational presentation, then, the students explore this model and are asked, what does it mean in the time of Charles Darwin? What can you assume about these fossils? And how does this relate to evolution? We can go on. Here's another one from the Darwin presentation. This is the Temple of Seriphus, and it offers insights how gradual change and geology help support Charles Darwin. You click on the buttons and you can find that this island rises and falls. And you can even explore it a little bit. This island and gradual change were very important to Charles Darwin being accepted. And we'll do one more. This is Malthus and his prediction about food supply running out as population growth kicks in. Now, we've all done these sorts of charts and graphs in our college classes that we teach, and somehow they don't always seem real. But we can take this slide and flip it, fold it flat, and bring out the information beneath our students. And if you look around, you can see that there is the growth of food and more people popping up. And in the 1800s, there was a real fear, particularly by the upper class, that they'd be surrounded by hordes and hordes of angry, poor, working-class people. Malthus, in his theory of population and how to perfect society, turned out to be the cornerstone of Darwin's theory of evolution. And the social context of fear by the upper classes helped support Darwin's ideas. Now, for the record, I suppose you're wondering, the details about Darwin in all these presentations. Well, I'm afraid you're going to have to request a demo in the Darwin piece to actually understand and work through those actual problems. For the moment, we're a little bit behind, and we need to move on. So here's the next slide. I did a design class where I asked my kids to make shampoo bottles, and they did thumbnail sketches, just like this. They did semi-comps, and I'll tell you right now, my students loved looking at billboard-sized images of their work, standing alongside them and critiquing them. I mean, this was a lot of fun for them. What they also liked was seeing them mapped onto 3D bottles. And all I had to do was give them a Photoshop texture as a guide, and they put their graphics on, saved out the right file name, and ta-da! They got to see their packages in 3D. They liked this very much as well. But what they really liked was seeing the work in a supermarket shelf. They could get close and see their packaging exactly like how it might look alongside the competitive brands. They could go back and see how it forms sort of a block of color, a line, look, a billboard within the actual shelf. And overall, I mean, it doesn't really get better for a graphic designer. You know, to be able to talk about their work from start to finish, to go from thumbnail to semi-comp to package actually in the world. And now that this work is done, these models are made, I mean, I can repeat this and do this over and over again for any students I want to. There's some interesting stuff here. All right, if you'll go back to the edge, we'll finish up, and I want to finish up on talking about the future, the past, the present, and cinema. Behind me is an early film, and I want you to understand that, like early film, virtual space is a new medium that we are just trying to understand. There's so much possible, so much new that can be done. We are still learning where we can take our students, where we can take ourselves. Now, sometimes we may fall, we may not always get there, but we're pretty sure we're going to keep trying. And as we look at these images, we're probably going to get the idea that, yeah, we need color, and we need sound. We need more realism. But there's another question, too. What else is possible? What does this new magic space afford? What most people seem to forget is that it took maybe 30 years for folks to understand that you could cut film to create new meaning. You could do pans and jump cuts and tracking shots, all of which created new meaning. There was an entire language of montage that allowed people to create new cinematic works. And like early cinema, we can learn how to do that. We can build new things. And we can slowly rise up and create magical digital environments. Spaces unlike anything that we've ever seen before. We can take our kids on a magical journey and explore strange new universes, untouched, unthought of, undreamt of before. All we have to do is try. Thank you. Okay, and that's it. All right.